Hi, welcome back to Brooksy's Bass Corner and my Essential Bass Album series, looking back at albums that in my view are essential listening for any bass player. It might be an album that sold millions of copies worldwide and thrust the bassist onto megastardom, or it might be an album that didn't sell particularly well, but cut a niche for a particular bassist to propel the band or artist onto greater things. Or it might just be a great album in terms of the bass performance. Either way, I think these albums deserve your attention, and perhaps by watching this video you might be intrigued to check out the album for yourself. And who knows, maybe it will excite you as much as it excited me the first time I discovered it. Sadly, due to copyright restrictions, I can't use audio examples from the album, but where suitable I will indicate particular songs and their timestamp that I'm referring to. Also, check the description box for video links of selected tracks from this album. If you enjoy the video, please hit the subscribe button below, hit the notification bell so that you receive notifications when I post new videos, and please give the video a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you have any comments regarding the album or the video, leave them below and I'll come back to you as soon as I can. On with this episode's album. It's the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. By August 1966, following a problematic tour to support Revolver, the Fab Four of McCartney, Lennon, Harrison and Starr had decided to cease live touring, partly through the realisation that their band format limited the reproduction of the album recordings in a live setting, and that maybe they weren't as good in a live context as other bands. After a 3-month break, they set about preparing their 8th album, that would become the masterpiece known as Sgt. Pepper's. Released in 1967, the album trailblazed its way around the world, drawing together elements of pop, rock, psychedelia, fashion, art and design in a way that no one else had done at the time. It also signalled a change in the band dynamic. Drug use and spiritual awakenings within the band led to Paul McCartney taking the reins regarding many of the song ideas and songwriting. The album also heralded a raft of new recording techniques and sounds that, under the guidance of producer George Martin and engineer Geoff Emerick, breaking new ground and opening many bands and artists' eyes in terms of what could be achieved in the recording studio. The fact the album is still considered a reference point for music, the Beatles and popular culture indicates its genuine standing as a classic album, and for many people the greatest album of all time. Upon its release at the end of May 1967, the album shifted 250,000 copies in the UK in its first week of release, and went on to spend 23 consecutive weeks at number 1 in the UK album charts, and 15 weeks at number 1 in the US, where it also won 6 honours at the 1968 Grammy Awards. Having sold over 2.5 million units worldwide in its first 3 months, as of May 2017, the album has sold in excess of 32 million copies worldwide. For the album sessions, McCartney used his Rickenbacker 4001S bass, strung with either rotor sound or pyramid strings, and amplified through a Vox UL 4120 amp, as well as a 1964 Fender Bassman amp and a 2x12 cabinet, although this album introduced the concept of DIing straight into the mixing desk for a cleaner, more precise bass tone. The concept of performing as another band serves the album well, and the title track is a fine example of McCartney's supportive and rounded bass work, while the opening verse of With a Little Help from My Friends is quintessential McCartney. The picked descending line offers a nice contrast from the lower octave work in the chorus, and doesn't get in the way of Ringo's vocal phrasing. As it is, the bass shows the most movement in the song, against the straight guitar chords. With his active interest in various classical composers, the bass line for Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds draws parallels with such musical works, especially in the verses and his particular note choices. By this point in his career, McCartney was pushing the envelope for bass players the world over. Getting Better is another example of McCartney's fluid playing style, and on this album he's leading the band from the front and putting the bass to the forefront, pushing the songs along with his trademark walking style. Stereo separation of instruments was a big deal on this album, so it's not totally surprising to learn that over 700 hours was spent writing, recording and mixing the album. As the band expanded their musical horizons, songs such as Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite, She's Leaving Home, with its use of cello and harp, and Within You Without You shows the band refusing to be restrained by anything other than their own musical capabilities and ideas. This was a band that didn't know the meaning of no. This can't be done. When I'm 64 is so steeped in British imagery and musical performance, yet McCartney's bass line underpins the whole song, while his part for Lovely Rita barely pauses for breath throughout. The section from 2 minutes 11 through to 2 minutes 36 adds a dynamic change with its staccato phrases. A Day in the Life is a pivotal song in the Beatles' back catalogue, referencing news items of the day, and is often cited as possibly their greatest composition, with Rolling Stone magazine placing it as the 28th greatest song of all time. There is so much to discuss with this album that this 6-minute review can only scratch the surface, but in terms of musical impact and significance, there are few albums to match Sgt. Pepper's, and maybe there never will be. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button below, hit the notification bell so that you receive notifications when I post new videos, and please give the video a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments regarding the album or the video, leave them below and I'll come back to you as soon as I can. Look forward to seeing you here again on Brooksy's Bass Corner.